There are three main religions here in Ghana. I'm talking about the Christianity, Islam, and the traditional religion. Two of these, the Christianity and Islam, have well-known and set-apart holidays observed in the country. The traditional religion, however, do not have a day set apart for a national holiday in the country yet. To Don't Say It Loud, we'll be speaking with the Afrikanya Mission, an organization that has put it upon themselves to petition the president to get a national holiday for the traditional religion. We'll be speaking to them to find out what their reasons are and whether indeed Ghana needs a national holiday for the traditional religion. My name is Lord Harris Udasari. Stay tuned for more. Welcome back. You're still watching Say It Loud with me, Lord Harris Idwasari. And my guest for today is Fafafe Agboji Sewonu. He's the National Youth Chair of the Afrikanya Mission. I stated earlier that the Afrikanya Mission are trying to get a petition to the president to, get a national holiday. Let me just get straight to it. Fafafe, thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you very much also, Lord.
Great. So, a little brief about the Afrikanya Mission. Who exactly are you?
Okay, thanks so much for such question. Afrikanya Mission, it's the name is derived from a Chi word, Afrikanya.
Okay.
Something that came from light.
Afrikanya? Wow.
Afrikanya, something Afri, then Kanya. So something that came from light. That's the Afrikanya.
So does that mean it's pronounced Afrikanya Mission, or it's...
So we just try
modernized
to...
it.
Because it's cosmopolitan. It's,
okay.
There are other tribes and this thing. So we just want to make it neutral.
Okay.
But we have a base of understanding. That's right. Afrikanium. But everybody should have Afrikanya. And it's also coincide with Africa.
Yeah.
Afrikanium, then Africa. It came as a result of the fact that we had one Catholic priest, very learned one, called Reverend Dr. Vincent Kwabena Damo.
Okay.
He hailed from Asankragwa in the Western region. He was in the Catholic Church, and then he became the former secretary during the PNDC law era, the culture secretary, meaning anytime issues regarding the then is culture secretary, meaning currently it is Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. So he went outside to represent Africa on religious issues, and he realized that China, India, those petty countries also have religions, and they have various religions, and they were having their representations at the meeting that they went. But the whole of Africa as a continent does not have a common religion. But he, being a minister from Ghana, he was even representing Christendom or other religions which were not originating from Africa. That was when he said, our whole of Africa, why don't we have religion? A way of revering God, because religion is a way to God. So the whole of Africa, all the religions stated, none had its origin from Africa. And here lies the case, the composition of the people. Most of them are Africans. And we can't boast of a religion. Meanwhile, all the constituents of every religion, they are all in Africa. They all see God. And Africans, we know God. All those who led good lives on earth, they always remember those people. And the whites, they always remember and they venerate them. And we also have similar people in Africa. Why is it that we also don't have a special time, a religion where we can also collect and identify all those who led good life? Then he realized that they were also venerating spirits with the origin from the lands, the white, the European world, and all those things. We also have spirits that we call fertility, spirit of fertility. That is in Africa. Spirit of harvest is in Africa. Spirit of good statesmanship. Spirit of ruling, governorship, spirit of judging, to when somebody misbehave or you feel like you want to go and seek justice somewhere. Spirit that can produce justice and all those things. Why do we keep suppressing ours and promoting others? Then there should be a religion of Africa.
So the goal was to put Africa on the map where religion was concerned.
Yes, that when it comes to religion, we also have something valuable.
Okay.
That we can also convert.
Okay.
Because religion, from the word go, God never ordained any religion in this world. So when Damwa came, he said no. And he consulted the chairman then, that's former President Rawlings. That no, I went today, something I realized, no, it's a revelation. So he had to lead all his lives as a Catholic priest and says he wants to champion African religion. That was when he started it in 1982.
1982, you've come very far.
Yes, please. We are 38 years this year.
Yeah. So who are those in your group then? Some of the prominent people actually,
Prominence, we have a whole lot. Initially, government was in full support because the president then, Chairman Rawlings, bought into the idea of Comfort Damwa. So government was championing, supporting, was at the forefront. So things went well.
Is that to say that the former president was part?
I should say so, because it's very cardinal. In the history of Afrikanya mission, we normally revere former President Rawlings so much.
Someone can buy into your idea without necessarily being part of your movement. So at the time he was a politician, and so he had all the power to enforce your movement. But was there some sort of initiation? I mean, I'm sure you may have met him and all that, but is that to confidently say that he was part of the Afrikanya mission? That's why he was championing your cause?
It doesn't necessarily mean come to Afrikanya and be a member before they recognize you, but it is in your doing. President Rawlings, when he wants to talk about history of the African, he's always proud of being an African. Scarcely will you see him even in fabrics that are foreign. And when he speaks, he spoke at a point in time with P.T. Dochi of the Nigerian Movie Hall of Fame, that the only solution to solving corruption to zero. It's not about any forming any office of special prosecutor or no. You get the minister, take the minister to the shrine. This is my role as minister. What belongs to the citizenry is for the citizen, and what belongs to me it belongs to me. But if I end up taking mine and adding what belongs to the citizens to mine, may the divinities kill me.
Okay.
When you swear there, go to your office and assume office. They won't steal.
I see.
It's zero. It will even add to, it will reduce corruption to negative, because some ministers will even be willing to use their own money to help the cause.
Well, so it's basically about projecting Africans and the ideals. I'd like to take a quick break here. When we get back, we're going to find out about the national holiday which they are actually petitioning the president for, as well as a National Liberation Day. We'll find out more about that after the break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're still watching Say It Loud with me, Lord Harris Edu Asari. And I've been speaking to the National Youth Chair of the Afrikanya Mission. Fafa, can I call you Fafa?
No problem.
Great.
Okay.
So tell us, you've been talking about a national holiday. What's that about? And why do you think you need a holiday?
We will say that one of our patriotic songs that we normally sing, that is Yen Ara Assassini. Mia Denigban Lolola. I'm a newe, so I'm good with that one.
Subtitles.
Yeah. The third line says, our forefathers have toiled and they poured their blood to save and to rescue us, or to get this land for us. what in history do we have to honor such people? That third line did not say our forefathers used any foreign approach to get this land. They used their blood, they poured their blood for. So there should be a special day that should be used to celebrate them. And that could signal, would be an omen or a sign that those of us alive today, when we also do our best for our nation, when we are no more one day, that day will be a special day that they will be honoring us, looking at all the holidays that we celebrate in Ghana. You hear some foreign religions, three good days, 3 different days in a year to venerate what we don't know. Excuse me, I don't want to sound so distant. The tools that or the approaches our forefathers use, we understand the approaches they use. They use the divinities and they use their ancestors to fight. So there should be a day revered to honor those divinities and ancestors of our land. When we begin doing that, then the consciousness to think within will come by itself. By so doing, when they are there, we say a human being is made of body and soul. The soul never dies, but the body dies the day you are buried. So when the souls are there, they will be glad. When they are glad, we are okay. There are petty things we normally disregard. They affect us a lot. And one of such is the holiday.
So if you had to propose a holiday, what name would you propose?
It could be Ancestors Day. It could be National Libation Day. Why do we say even National Libation Day? Because in National Libation, we call on God, because during libation, we revere God. All the appellations of God, we come out with all of them. And then we call all the divinities. As we are here, the number one deity, divinity Ghanaians should revere is Nakole, because the Greater Accra, the capital of Ghana, is Greater Accra. And the land belongs to a divinity. That is it. Whether we like it or not, it is Nakole that is controlling the land here, because this is the land we claim is Greater Accra and is the capital of Ghana. When we even move here, the capital from here to another town, that town, the divinity that controls that town, becomes the supreme divinity. That will take prayers first to the other divinities, then link to God. Then our answers will come through the same structure. I can tell you point blank also that if we should be doing some of those things, some of our researches and findings reveal that even this issue about coronavirus, there are even more that we think might come over. But if truly we were to be taking these things very seriously, a lot of pandemics and things will come. They will fly over Ghana. I can tell you on authority.
So, yeah, in a sense, saying that because we've not been able to set up a public holiday or one day to revere the forefathers who shed their blood for us to get what we are doing today. That's why certain things that, let's say the pandemics that have been happening, we find ourselves doing the same.
I can categorically tell you yes. I can defend it on this basis that every problem or challenge or disease we face in the world, when we go into it, there is something we've not done well. That is breeding it. For instance, the next ailment that will come, we are talking about something, homosexuality and things. So let's welcome that and see. We'll see the next plague or pandemics that will hit us. That one, it will even be in the air. You even hide in your room, you will hit it. This one is a nose mask. There are more coming. Every bad thing we do, every wrong step we take has repercussion on the physical world. That is something we must know. It's normal. I'm telling you right now that America, as we say, China, as we say, Japan, as we say, India, as we say, they know these things. So they go by it.
But you rightly said that the other countries have things like that.
Special
China,
days that they revere.
granted, China has the Chinese or the Asians are people who are they are very ingenious. They pay very critical attention to localizing stuff, and so they have their traditional. But then the disease actually started. It started from there before it spread, so it kind of nullifies the point you're making right now.
There are a lot of revealing issues about COVID-19 and other pandemics that came and passed.
Yeah.
That the interpretation is not just on the face of it.
But I'm just basing it on what you said, that because of some of the things that we have done, that's how
China
the
could control
came to us.
It came from there. But the impact, they were able to consult, and they are putting it under control. And at that time that it's involved, we are not there with Chinese. But if it is a wrong that brought about that, they are trying to reverse it. And it started with them. But if we were to be well grounded as Africans, once it started from there, we will be able to divinate. One example, when the COVID-19 started, within the first month, the president of Ghana, instead of calling the Ulama in Accra, who did he call? He called the pastors. He called the pastors. He called the Muslim community, leaving the custodians of the land. And check the records. Just after that day, what happened to the records? The numbers. They kept rising.
So you think because you weren't involved in
a lot of calamities befalling us is because
you've been taken out of the equation.
We ignore tradition. We must engage in research. Governments must invest in its resources, quantum, in research. And even Ministry for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs must be made a cabinet ministry, because that is what carries the vision of the country before it goes to finance. In comparing ministries, Ministry for Finance cannot be rated higher than Ministry for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs.
Let me just take a quick break here. Do not
rate
the Ministry of Finance over Ministry of Chieftaincy, because they are the custodians of the land, and that is coming from the National Youth Chair of the Afrikanya mission.
And definitely excuse me, let me add this.
I'll take a quick break here.
Who qualifies to be a Minister of Chieftaincy?
It's getting pretty interesting, isn't it? Welcome back. You're still watching Say It Loud, and we've been speaking with the Afrikanya mission. And Fafa tells me that because the president did not engage traditional leaders, there's a prayer meeting to pray against the coronavirus. It's the reason why the number of cases actually spiked. Now, Fafa, let me just get to you. Is that to say that the gods are angry and so there's no end in sight? What's going on?
Thank you again for such question. You see, physically, tradition has a structure on its own, a governance system on its own. And I know definitely, one classical example, if Otumfo Seitutu declares lockdown, that nobody should go out in the whole of Ashanti region, it doesn't need even police to even go out. Once he says it, it is even more severe. People even respect it because it is a traditional authority. We are risking the police. COVID-19, soldier, it doesn't respect soldier.
It doesn't respect.
It doesn't respect police either. It's human that is attacking. So if you send this, soldiers are supposed to control the external borders, and you are risking them. President, call the House of Chiefs. Please, this is the issue. We want our citizens to be this and that and that.
In this case, the president actually engaged the traditional leaders. I mean,
when was that? It was recent.
Okay.
It was recent. But if we were to be involved, one police officer with patrol team is enough.
But this is where we
and
are.
And we use police or soldiers.
The thing has already they're saying we've reached our
It
peak.
can be controlled.
How? That's
It
what I
can
want
be
to know.
controlled. It
How?
means that number one is that they must recognize tradition, and it can be curtailed. I'm telling you, it can be curtailed. They should recognize tradition.
Any cure?
Cure can even come out of it.
A bit of clarity here. You keep mentioning traditional leaders and then chiefs. Is there a distinction between the two?
The divine priests, they install the chiefs. Just like the way the ordinary Ghanaians, we vote for the president, but we repose confidence in the president. But the real power resides in the people. But we contributed, we added our powers to install the president.
We are facing a crisis.
Yes.
And I was asking whether there is a cure. What are we supposed to do? Have you consulted the deities on? You've already stated that because of certain things we did, that's how come things have gone out of control. But we want to control it now. Have you consulted the deities on the way forward, how to get a cure?
There is something surprising about this, which I can put in public domain now.
Okay.
I need to seek permission from the head, but I think it's about rescue. We are in a rescue mission, so I know they will understand. When just the advent of this COVID, most of our divine priests, we call on them. Most of them don't even have Android or smartphones. Excuse me to say, some of them are not literate, but they are educated.
Yes.
Because education begins from the mother's knee.
Exactly.
When we consulted, we call on them. What is happening? This. They divinated. And the stories we heard, they spoke as if they were having smartphones. They spoke as if they always go to the internet to access information. A lot of things they told us.
What stories did they tell you?
COVID is artificial. It is not something, if somebody says God brought COVID-19 to punish us, it's a lie. COVID is artificial. It's an artificial thing.
I see.
It is pure from the mouth of the gods. It is something artificial.
The deities are acknowledging that it is artificial.
It is artificial. And they design a path. But it will be very difficult now. But I can use this means to signal it that if we want to prevent this, to control this, and then prevent future things, government must succumb and go back. First, making the bold step by making Ministry for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs to be a cabinet ministry. That is number one. It means the allocation will also go higher. And the mandate of the ministry will be given in such a way that they will project the vision and how Ghanaians want to look like in the next 20, 50 or 1,000 years. The ministry must. And who to put there must be well versed in the affairs and the history of Ghana. And where we want to be.
You're also Ghanaians. The president is also, you just said that and indeed, the COVID-19 is no respecter of persons. So the president is also prone to get it. But you're waiting for his move before you actually, what are you doing from your end?
I think we are on course with regards to answering that question. Because we don't have government support initially. We're promoting and making researches out of our own personal pockets. If we were all to fold our hands, especially the traditional sector, if we were to fold our hands because government is not minding us and we were to fold our hands, things would have been worse than this. I'm telling you. I can say it on authority.
Why? What have you done that has made things... So you're saying that this is actually...
We are doing our support to the country on a low scale based on the little resources we have and the support we have.
What were you doing?
We did divination and we offer sacrifices. We offered sacrifices. I can boldly tell you right now, we are in touch with even people in the divinities within the Republic of Benin, Togo, Ghana, Nigeria. We do all those. There were some even signs that during the divination, the spirits told us. And the replication, the signs were even things that were being shown by the meteorological service. A lot of rains that even fell within the period. They were signals.
What really went into the things that you did?
It varies. People divinate. And there are certain things like in Ewe we call something a dodede. I don't know how the Gans call it. Something that when you do annually, it makes some ailments that are pandemic, they fly over.
Can you tell us the difference between voodoo and then traditional? Because there's always the attribution to the traditionalists. What is that?
Voodoo, every place has its interpretation of the word voodoo. The Ewes, the way they understand it is voodoo.
Now, what does that mean?
It means if it is there, the town is free.
Voodoo.
Voodoo. Edwa evo.
Well, what does that mean?
Voodoo.
Edwa evo.
If it is there, the town is free from all calamities. Because if there's something befalling, when you refer to voodoo, voodoo will tell you what is breeding that problem.
Let me just finish up with my question. So does that mean that voodoo is under traditional religion?
Yes. It's an aspect. Voodoo is a divinity. And people are in charge of that divinity. They are not supposed to work. Every day what they are to do is they are to be praying. They are to be doing all sorts of incantations. And they are also to be supported. Just like the way other religions, they normally have people that they don't work that you have to give to them. Okay. They are only supposed to be there, and their duty is to be making sure all of us are one, and anything that is befalling us, you consult them.
With regards to getting yourselves heard by the president, how far have you come?
Yes, currently our friendship and then the contact with the chieftaincy minister, it's more friendlier than before. So I think we just have to intensify the way we knock at his doors, and then to some extent we are facing some similar problems, because who is there? If the person buys into your vision, even if you are sleeping, the person can even knock your door. The person does not have to necessarily stay at home and say come or stay in the office. But if the person is already buying into your vision, when you don't even come, the person can come to you.
So you think this government is not buying into your vision?
Not just this government. Governments over the years.
I mean, apart from the Rollins government.
I can boldly tell you that respect for tradition, apart from Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's regime, the next regime that was quite close was Rollins. But the rest have failed, I can tell you.
But the fight against the pandemic we are facing right now, if you had government supports, what would have been different?
It would have been either we would be in control,
How?
if not avoiding it completely, we would have been in control of the COVID.
So
we would have controlled it.
This is where we are.
The worst we will face.
This is where we are. Tomorrow the president calls you. I've heard your plea. I really think I need to work with you guys now. What's the way forward?
What will signal him is that we'll consult. We have already consulted. We were doing all that we could do under our own means. But if president gives us the assent and support now, what we're doing on a small scale can just be on a large scale, because we have government support. When the state soaks itself into it, government will design avenues where to make that thing more appealing. Because there are a lot of things now. If governments were to soak their resources and then time, resources, I'm not talking only about money. Time is also a resource. Meeting people, the next year of action, what is happening, this and that. It makes things listen.
Okay. Abuji, let me just end this here. I think
we can't use a day
we can't finish this conversation
because
thank you so much for coming on Say It Loud. It's been very informative and educative, actually. So I've been speaking with Fafafe Abuji Sewonu on Say It Loud, and he's the National Youth Chair of the Afrikanya Mission. So what we need to do, according to the Afrikanya Mission, is that governments should pay more attention to the traditional religion they should front a lot of the things they are doing, because per their analysis and history, it's only the first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and former president J.J. Rawlings. They are the only ones who actually showed interest in the traditional religion. That's why things were better, so in quotes, better in their regime. But this has been said loud. My name is Lord Harris Udasari. Join us next time.